What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love power, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today we're going to be talking about Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 3, Episode 3. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And what do y'all think about your boy Kane and how he was moving in this episode? He made it be known that he was running things, and y'all know Lorenzo, he felt some type of way about that. He did not like it, and you can tell by the look on his face. That man felt like he was a peasant. Kane treated him like nothing, and it's probably going to continue to happen up until Lorenzo is taken out. And when that happens, I believe Kane will feel bad, like, man, I really treated my pops like that. I probably should have, did better, but it's going to be a little bit too late for that. And how did y'all feel about Braden? In this episode, he slipped up once again, and this ain't the time to be slipping up. You supposed to be catching a body and you freeze. Like, really? We know Braden will, have a lot of pressure on him to catch a body. Kane even told him, you owe me a body because you didn't catch this one. And Kane gonna be pissed off once he gets that 100% confirmation that Braden did not take out Lauren. I believe this is why he contacted Effie at the end of the episode, and he's gonna have that conversation with her to figure out what in the hell really happened to her, because Braden, he's moving kind of shaky, and it's quite obvious that this dude has not taken out anybody just based off the way he's been acting. But to be honest with you guys, I would have never sent Braden to do that job anyway, especially taking out a Russian connect. That's a little bit too high risk for me, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what Braden said about taking out Lauren. I would never do it, and that's going to come back and hunt Kane and the organization eventually. But you already know those Russians, they ain't done. They're going to come back for revenge once they figure out what really went down. But let's hop right into this recap. What did we see in episode 3 titled Human Capital? Now the episode starts out with Effie. She's having a conversation with a friend. I believe her name is Jolie, and she wants to know if Effie's been pushing weight at Stansfield yet, and we know Effie has not even started to do that. And she's like, man, what's going on? Is it something to do with Tariq? So I'm looking like, you telling this girl your business? Like, what the hell are you doing, Effie? But then again, we don't know a whole lot about Effie's character. Even though she's been on the show for a while, it's still a lot of mystery surrounded by her. But for her to let her know about Tariq lets us know that this girl is definitely a little bit closer to Effie than we probably think. And I wonder if we're going to see more of her character in future episodes. Now we get to your boy Lorenzo, and he is catching a beat down. And this is for what he's done to Zeke and, of course, Drew. And Kane is letting them know, like, look, these are the consequences of your actions. It could be worse, because we know if Monet finds out what he's done, it's pretty much over for your boy Lorenzo. So he has to go ahead and just take this beat down. And Kane is feeling like he's the ruler, like he is the top dog. And in this episode, he was not shy about letting everybody know what was going to happen and who was running things. And Lorenzo, all he can do is just agree and let everybody know that Kane is calling the shots. Now, we get to Drew. I couldn't tell if he was taking a crap or what the hell he was doing, but apparently he was clapping some cheeks. This man, he is, thinking about Ev all the time. I mean, it's over. Leave Ev alone. I mean, you almost got him killed, so don't worry about that. I told you guys, Drew is too worried about the wrong things. This is why he continues to slip up, and he couldn't wait. After he got up in old boy, he decided to get on Instagram. Look at him. He's spying on Ev, and then he hops on Grindr. He's looking at his next victim. He sees, of course, the tattoo, so he knows this is probably connected to Uncle Frank's peoples, right? So now he's probably more intrigued on, meeting up with him. But we know later on in the episode, Gordo and his brothers come to the penthouse to try to make a potential deal with the Tejada family. Now, we get to Tariq, Braden, Effie, and Kane. They meet up with O.B. Trice looking boy, and he's telling them, look, y'all not pushing out this weight fast enough. He wants profit. Noma, she ain't playing around. But where the hell is Noma at? It's episode 3. We only saw her in the first episode. She's supposed to be this big, drug person, queen pin, whatever. And we only saw her once. We need to see more of her character. Hopefully she does return in next week's episode. But he tells them if they don't push this weight out in time and make this money, he's going to start taking out family members. He shows a picture of Dirty Diana. He's a picture of Braden's family. And then we see a picture of Grandma, y'all. Tariq's grandma. And it seems like they've been watching everybody just in case they have to make a move if somebody slips up. And I'm thinking like, man, this just got serious. I mean, they told y'all to push out this weight. You're not pushing it out fast enough. So, it makes a lot of sense on why they're pissed off. But once I saw grandma on there, I'm looking like, man, Tariq, you're going to have to figure this out because they not playing around at all. And you also have to ask yourself a question. Do you really want to be doing business with Noma in her organization? Because it seems like this is a high risk if you slip up. And on top of that, we did not see anything about Effie. You know what I'm saying? She's still a mystery. She doesn't have any family that, they could have contacted. What's up with that? Now we get to Whitman, Jenny Sullivan, and Blanca. They're going over what they need to do as far as this whole Rico thing. He mentions how he was not able to get Officer Ramirez's phone. We know that dude was a dirty cop, so you already know they trying to cover that up. But he wants to put the pressure on Monet. Now, Jenny is telling him, don't do that. You can mess up this entire investigation. That's not a smart idea. Your girl Blanca, she does mention that we need to focus on all the drug stuff for the whole Rico case. She brings up Mecca, and then she talks about Lauren and, how they should probably look more into it. Jenny Sullivan is like, hell nah. That was a car crash. It's a closed case. She wants to put more energy on Tariq, and it seems like Blanca wants to do that as well. But we know Detective Kevin Whitman, he wants to put more of the pressure on Monet. And it was talking about how he's very emotional about the whole Carrie Milgram thing. That's because he used to clap those cheeks, so he feels some type of way about her, and he wants to make sure Monet goes down for it when it's all said and done. Now, Tariq and Effie discuss how in the hell they're going to push out all this weight for Noma and how serious it is, especially seeing that she's keeping tabs on the family. And, Effie tells him, look, she wants to push product at Stansfield. Tariq tells her it's kind of hot there. She should not do it. But once she tells him she's stepping on the product and she's trying to make extra money in order to pay off, grad school and stuff like that, and she has a safety number, he eventually agrees with her as far as pushing product at Stansfield. He understands that she's the only one, that's taking care of herself, and she can use the money. But it was kind of funny that Tariq told her, if anybody's not going to get caught, it's going to be you. Well, I don't know about that. She gonna get caught up this season, Tariq, when you find out that she tried to kill Lauren, but she didn't do it. And man, I cannot wait to see how Tariq is going to respond to it. Then we get to the theme of the episode. We are back in class, human capital, and your girl Dirty Diana, she got some things to say. Of course, she's pissed off at her family, but she does state how, that your girl Effie told her that something was not valuable and then took it for herself. I mean, she didn't call her name out, but your girl Rusandria, she was like, man, that sounds hella personal. So y'all know it was an attack on Effie. And then Becca, she was having issues with her classmate Thomas about her family and how they used people. So it was real, hot up in that class in this episode. And it was funny as hell when Tariq pretty much said that Rusandria undercut him for that internship. And we know Professor Bennett, she had to jump in real quick to shut it all down because it was getting real personal and she did not want that type of drama up in her classroom. Now Salim, he decides to, have a conversation with Diana and tell her about her pops and how he's Googled him and the whole thing about manslaughter and of course drugs and all that stuff. It's kind of weird to him. It was, a little bit tough. And I'm looking like, dude, why in the hell are you Googling her family? You's a weirdo. That's exactly what you is. As I told you, we try to give you the benefit of the doubt the first couple episodes, but the stuff that you're doing in this episode, I ain't feeling it, and I got a feeling ain't nobody else feeling it. And I'm glad Kane was not feeling it, and he didn't shake his hand. He was like, man, I don't know about that. Like, it ain't happening. But y'all know Kane, he wants to look out for his sister. He gives her some money, and he wants to watch her to make sure she's good because we know Noma is keeping tabs on Diana. And Kane, he was trying to get Diana a strap. But Diana was like, nah, I cannot take that. Like, what are you doing? He's talking about the campus is hot because of Tariq. And I'm thinking like, really? I think the campus is hot because of some of the stuff that you was doing. Trying to set Tariq up with the whole Officer Ramirez stuff. I mean, keep popping up at this school. Like, are you crazy? It ain't all on Tariq, Kane. It's on you as well. And he wants Diana to come to dinner, and we know they're going to discuss what's going on with this whole Noma issue. Now, Detective Whitman, he goes and he makes a visit to Monet. He wants her to come in so he can ask her some questions, and you already know he believes she killed Carrie Milgram, and he's hoping that Monet will just confess, but we know that's not happening, and he tells her, like, look, it doesn't seem like a crime happened here, and he wants to look up the contractor because he knows whoever was working for Monet most likely cleaned up everything for her. So this is why he wants to, look up the intel on that. That way he can try his best to expose her. So this dude is really on one, y'all. And you can tell Monet really wants to take him out. Now, we get to Diana, Drew, Kane, and Lorenzo, and they're talking about what they need to do to get Noma off their back. And I guess Kane, he wants to take out Uncle Frank's sons. He's like, look, we already took Frank out. We might as well take out his sons and we can move in their area to move weight. It can help us out. You can tell that Lorenzo, he didn't want to do it, but he can't really say anything. Drew, he's like, hell nah. Ain't no way we about to do that. They're like family. We can't just be taking them out like that. And he comes up with another game plan to just take out the Connect. But before Drew even said anything, he was on his phone once again, on the Grindr app, going back and forth with Gordo. But at this time, he doesn't know it's him. He sees the tattoo, but that's about it. And he's not focused. Meanwhile, Kane, he's telling everybody he is calling all the shots. Your girl Diana, she was like, who died and made you king? And the look on Lorenzo's face, it was priceless because he really wanted to let Kane know how he really felt, but he could not do it. So all he can say is like, look, Kane is running things. He's calling all the shots. So y'all know it was a lot of tension in the air. And y'all know Lorenzo, he wanted to let Kane know, like, look, I told you not to mess around with Noma. She can't be trusted. And now look what you got us into. On top of that, y'all know Lorenzo, he did not want to take down, Uncle Frank's sons. And you can see some relief in his face when Drew said we shouldn't be doing that. And how about we just take out that Connect? At the end of the day, whatever they was going to decide to do, it wasn't going to be a good idea in my opinion. You're going to decide to take out the Russian Connect and then end up using Braden for the hit. Like, really? That makes no sense at all. On top of that, you was risking to take out, Uncle Frank's sons, which can cause, a lot of backlash. So, I mean, we're going to see how it all unfolds. But as of right now, it's definitely not looking too good. It seems like the game plan with, the whole Wall Street and Effie moving product at Stansfield is probably the safest route as far as nobody getting dropped off. Now, Lucas, he was trying his best to get all the black people he can get in order to make this move with RSJ. And Kiki, she's like, hell nah, I'm not doing it. I don't feel good. This is, a personal thing for her. But he got Tariq. And she was like, okay, I guess you got one black face. That's good enough. And y'all already know it's going to be some tension in the air between Kiki and Lucas. Now, RSJ is looking for, a company that can help him with his investments. And Westing Holdings is a potential, company that could do that. Uncle Lucas knows this. And this is why he wants Tariq to be there to hopefully help him seal this deal. RSJ does tell him, look, they're going to set up another meeting to see if a deal can be made. Now, Tariq does get some advice from RSJ. He asks him a question about his speech, and they end up talking about business. And he tells him, like, look, 1,000 cheap customers will make more profit than, I guess 100, high-end customers. And then he tells Tariq, you know why you're here. And Tariq tells him, yes, I know he's using me to appeal to you. And RSJ says, you know what? I like your style. You know what I'm saying? You're straightforward. Just know, if they're using you, make sure you do the exact same thing. Use them. So Tariq will be taking this advice and he's going to use it. And it goes back to the whole theme of the episode as far as human capital. And this is what they like to do in this show. Give us that theme throughout the entire episode with numerous of characters. Now, Braden, he notices that Westing Holdings, they own this crypto company called Crash Coin. And it seems like the company is not making enough money for them. And Uncle Lucas, he's pissed off. He's invested a lot of money in them, but has not made any profit. And he tells them, nobody wants to buy your crypto coin, right? But they're telling him, just give them some time. It's going to blow up eventually. Braden's going to use this information in order to sell product later on in the episode with Tariq. Now, Monet, she gives Davis McLean another burner phone. She tells him, did he call her? He says no. He shows her the call log. And of course, it's nothing there. So she decides to go ahead and give him a new one because she ain't trusting it. Now, they go and meet up with Detective Kevin Whitman. He's asking questions about, Carrie Milgram. Also, he's talking about what happened to all these people that keep showing up at your bar and they keep disappearing. Rico, DC, Joe. I mean, what's going on? And all of a sudden, these contractors, they can't be found. He's not trusting it. And Monet, she's pissed off. She tells him, you need to be looking into what happened to Zeke, look into the guaps. Once she said that, he's like, oh, I didn't know the guaps had anything to do with it. So now he's going to look into that. I mean, he is trying his best to break down Monet. He tells her that Zeke most likely was going to rat on her and run off with Mecca. And Monet, she loses it, y'all. I mean, he knows exactly what to do to push her buttons in order for her to go off. And Davis McLean decides that it will be best for them to file a harassment on him. That way they can try to neutralize him. But he tells Monet, you cannot, get messy. No blood shed, because y'all know Monet, she want to drop him off. And if she does that, it's going to fall right back on her. Now we get to Braden and Tariq. They come up with a game plan to sell product using coffee. And Braden's going to make like a course correct Wall Street app in order to do this. And they're going to use the Crash Coin, company as a front. And what's going to happen is the person will buy the crypto coin, and then they can use that coin to buy coffee. And Braden mentions that the person that buys the coin, once they make that purchase, it's completely anonymous. So it's not going to trace back to them. It's going to go back to their investors, Crash Coin. So I guess this is going to work as of right now. Kane does tell him if it does end up messing up, if somebody does say something, that Braden's going to have to be the one to handle it and not use them to do it. And Braden said, look, they got it. These guys are low-key criminals. They're not going to say anything. Well, we're going to see. I don't know if I will 100% trust it, but it is what it is. Now, Kane tells Braden, like, look, you're going to be the one that's going to take out the Russian Connect because you're white, and it's going to make it look like it was not us or the Castillos. And y'all can tell Braden didn't really want to do it. But Kane's like, look, it should be easy because you took out Lauren, so this is a no problem for you. And y'all know Braden, he had to play it off like, yeah, I got it or whatever. But deep down inside, you can tell Kane is like, man, I don't even know if this dude did this. And it's going to show once he realizes that he screwed up on the job. Now, Tariq meets up with Davis McLean and Monet, and they're telling him just to keep his distance from the penthouse in Monet because Detective Kevin Whitman, he's on one, right? And they're going to neutralize him pretty soon, but he wants Tariq to keep his head on a swivel. And while all of this is going down, your boy Cooper Sacks, he pops up at the right place at the right time to get his picture. I mean, this dude, he don't give a damn. He's going to try whatever it takes to help out Jenny Sullivan, but we know it's just a matter of time before he is caught slipping, and he's going to have to pay for his actions. Now, we get to Tariq, Braden, and Effie, and Braden tells them that Kane wants him to take out the Russian Connect, and y'all can tell that he's very nervous, and Tariq is like, man, we need to come up with a different strategy because this may not work. But Effie is like, nah, Kane is right. Braden needs to do this. Eventually, he's going to have to step up. And Effie tells Braden, like, look, are you actually going to do it this time? And y'all know Braden ain't about to do nothing. They're putting that pressure on him to catch his first body. And as of right now, he ain't built for it. We know later on in the season, him and Tariq will be shooting at some people. But as of right now, it's real tough for him to get the job done. Now, Detective Kevin Whitman, he is hit with a harassment charge. And Jenny Sullivan and Blanca, they're pissed off. And since he brought up Mecca to Monet, she already went to Tariq and let him know to, keep his head on the swivel. They already know she's going to do that. And it's going to mess up their whole investigation. They tell him he's going to be suspended by the morning because of what he's done. And he don't give a damn. He don't care about what they talking about. This man is willing to break all the rules to catch Monet slipping. And it's just a matter of time before he himself is caught slipping. But y'all know he kept going to her spots and, just watching out for anything. Now, Jenny does mention that she has a new idea, but Blanca is not going to like it. I just can't wait to see Blanca's reaction once she learns that Cooper Sacks is her CI and that Lauren is still alive. Now, Effie, she is moving product at Stansfield. Everything is going good. That's until she runs into your girl, Dirty Diana. And Diana's pissed off, talking about Effie's just scamming. She's lying to her. And she's like, this got to be about Tariq because she hasn't lied to her about anything. And Kane is the one that lied to her about moving product on Stansfield, talking about it's too hot. We know Diana, she does mention like, well, you told me Tariq was bad and you still messing around with him. Like, what's up with that? But Effie, she does keep it real. She's telling her like, look, yeah, I did tell you that because Tariq is bad for you, but not me. We different or whatever. So we know Effie really likes Tariq and she feels like she's the right person for him, not Diana. You know what I'm saying? And she tells Diana like, look, how about you move weight with me? You know what I'm saying? We can use you. But Diana's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to work with y'all at all. Effie tells her, you good on that candy store salary. So, they was going back and forth. But Dirty Diana, she's not having it. But we know at the end of the episode, when she talks to Lorenzo, she will be moving that weight for her pops. And she's going to be using that candy store as a front. Now, Cooper Sacks, he makes a visit to Theo Rollins. And y'all been killing this dude. Y'all talking about since it's not Redman, they can go ahead and just keep him locked up. Y'all care about him no more. I'm looking like, man, y'all ain't playing around. But, I did want to see your boy Redman continue to be in the show. But apparently, I guess he didn't want to do it. And it is what it is. And I believe this guy right here, if you guys remember the For Life TV show that was on ABC, that was 50 Cent's show that he had that, of course, got canceled. I believe this guy was on that show for a few seasons or whatever, but he's on Power Book 2 Ghost as of right now. Your boy Cooper Saxe is telling him like, look, I know something is up. I mean, the person that did this was taller. So are you covering for someone or whatever? And he can tell that Theo is, covering for somebody, but he's not going to give him the intel on who he's covering for. And he tells him he has to go. So y'all know Cooper Saxe, he will be going to Davis McLean to let him know that he knows he was the one that did the crime and that his brother Theo was covering for him. Now, Jenny Sullivan and Blanca Rodriguez, they go and make a visit to Rashad Tate while he's rekindling his love for his old love interest, Professor Bennett. Now, they end up questioning him about his campaign. Of course, he has an anti-drug, campaign, but he knows a lot of drug dealers. They're putting that pressure on him, and they asked him about Tariq. This dude, Rashad Tate, just gives up Tariq's intel, talking about how he turned him down for the internship, and now he works with Braden at Westing Holdings. The same Braden that, confessed to selling drugs at Stansfield. So now they know to look into all of that. All Rashad Tate did was put more pressure on Tariq and Braden, and this gives Blanca Rodriguez and Jenny Sullivan exactly what they want. But you can tell Rashad Tate felt some type of way about that. Like he knows, like, man, I done slipped up. But we're going to see how this all develops. But y'all know Rashad Tate, he going to look out for himself when it's all said and done. Now it's time for Braden to prove himself. Will he slip up? Or will he actually get the job done? Well, we know he ain't gonna get the job done. He gonna freeze up. And he goes out there, he's asking all these questions. Everything is just so awkward. This dude knows what time it is. He knows Braden is up to something. And when it's time for Braden to get the job done, he freezes up. But luckily, Tariq comes out there and gets the job done. And they escape real quick. But I'm thinking like, man, this whole game plan was completely stupid from the jump. Kane, like, come on. You want to get Braden to take out a connect? If you guys go back in Power history, just think of all the connects that we've seen. Like, it took, strategy to take out connects. Now you want to take out this guy and you're going to use Braden to do it? Hell nah. It does not make any sense at all. As I told you guys, I don't give a damn what Braden's talking about as far as taking out Lauren. You can tell he was shaky every time that topic of discussion was brought up. So why would you think he would be the person that would do this? Regardless of, him not wanting to seem like it was him or the Castillos. Makes no sense to me. You guys let me know. But Braden does let Kane know that the job is done. But y'all know Kane, he ain't gonna have that once he figures out that it was a screw up. Now we get to Tariq and Effie, and he's telling Effie like, look, you're gonna hit your safety number soon. And maybe, things can work out with us in the future. And y'all know Effie, she's not trying to be doing this all the time or whatever in the future. And Tariq's talking about, look, we can do it like my moms and dad, have each other's back. And just do it a little bit smarter. And he mentions that he wants Effie to meet his moms, in the future if things go right. And now his moms, she was the smart one, whatever. She was the mastermind behind the whole operation, and that his dad was the one that messed up. And this right here pissed a lot of people off because after he said that, he's talking about how he's smarter and better than Ghost, right? So people was like, really? Tasha was running everything? She was the mastermind behind all of it? Now, if we go back to the original Power, Tasha was making some, financial decisions. And of course, she was cleaning money. And she was making decisions as far as what Ghost needed to do when it came to taking out certain people or whatever. So she did make a lot of decisions. But as far as the mastermind behind the whole operation, hell nah. Now, I understand that Ghost did mess up. We all talked about this when the original Power was on. He made a lot of mistakes. But to sit up here and not give this man any credit because you upset about what you went through with him, that ain't gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Tariq understands that he's like his pops. He's talking about how he's smarter and better. Well, not yet. Eventually, you probably could get that way. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna knock you for trying to, be better and having that confidence in yourself, but not right now. Ghost was still, ahead of the game. And when Ghost was just focused on the drug game, he did what he had to do. Of course, the whole Angela thing messed stuff up and he made some mistakes, but this whole love thing in Power history is always a weakness. It does not last, and everybody that has a love interest, it usually does not end well for them. And besides all of that, we know Tariq, he just feels some type of way about his pops, and he's going to take out a lot of frustrations on him. But y'all know how Tasha was moving when she was not with Ghost. Remember the whole druggy daycare? Remember how that turned out? We saw how Tasha was struggling or whatever. Ghost, you got to give him his props. That's all we asked him. Just give him his props. Yes, he messed up just like any other character in Power, but you got to give him his props when it came to running the organization. It wasn't just all Tasha. It was Ghost as well. Tariq is still mad because Ghost would not teach him the game, Ghost, he didn't give a damn. He said, you know what? I'm not bowing down to you. You are my son. You're not about to be in the drug game on my watch. I don't care how old you are or how much you want to be in it. It's just not about to happen. But we know Tasha, she broke down and said, you know what? I guess I'm going to teach you the game or whatever. But y'all know Ghost, he ain't going for it. He was willing to kill Tariq to keep him out of the game. I mean, that's what he told him, right? And it's funny because even though Ghost is not here anymore, it's always like he gets that last laugh when it comes to Tariq about his decision making, and Tariq gets pissed off. I think he's still upset about that letter when he told him he knew he was going to end up in jail or whatever. So I think Tariq is still holding some of that anger inside. Y'all let me know. Now we get to the meetup with Uncle Frank's sons and Kane, Lorenzo, and Drew. And man, y'all can see that this is Drew's match, and he's going to see that once he comes into the door. And it was kind of weird to me. I mean, this dude put his arm up. You can see the tattoo, like, you really putting your arm up all of a sudden? Like, come on, man. These dudes seem soft to me. I don't know. Hey, maybe Kane should have took these guys out and never went with Drew's game plan to take out the Connect. I got a feeling one of these guys getting dropped off by the end of the season anyway. They end up deciding to, make a deal with Kane, but y'all know some of them did not necessarily agree with the game plan. They felt like it was somebody else that killed their Connect, and they felt like it was a black kid because of what they heard. But Lorenzo said it was a white kid. He said he heard it from some stupid kid. And then he makes up this big speech about family, how we need to stick together. Uncle Frank will want this or whatever. It was extra. I believe what Kane was talking about, like he was a little bit too extra with that, right? Drew was pissed off because he's like, man, when did Kane become, the leader or whatever? When did he start making all the decisions for this organization? And he's like, man, I know something's up between y'all. And hey, your boy Lorenzo, he thought he did his damn thing out there. He's like, man, I'm going home. I made the right move. We good. But Kane's like, nah, that little stupid kid remark in that whole speech about family was a little bit too extra. So now you're going to have to move some extra weight. And the way that he just, pointed at that bag had me cracking up, man. Your boy Lorenzo, he is catching L after L after L. And y'all can see him. He was kind of smirking like, yeah, okay, I got you. Like, okay, I'm tired of this. Well, dude, this is what you brought yourself into. You decided to make this deal with Kane, and now you're going to have to deal with those consequences. But man, it's looking real sad for him each and every episode. Now we get to Davis McLean and Cooper Saxe. Cooper does tell him, like, look, I found out that Theo Rollins was your brother. Why didn't you tell me? Y'all know Davis McLean, man. He's like, look, man, I just needed you to help me out. And you are the person that's going to solve all of this. He understands that Davis McLean was the one that committed this crime and that Theo is just covering for him. Davis does mention if he can go back, he would change things. He didn't know the law like that back in the day. And, how he just pretty much needs Cooper Saxe's help. Saxe does tell him, look, he's good. He's going to help him out. But you can tell deep down inside, the old Cooper Saxe is in him. He really wants to not only make sure Theo Rollins is good, but he wants Davis McLean to be the person that goes down for it. That's just my opinion. And y'all know Cooper Saxe is in his blood to take down criminals, but eventually all of this is going to blow up. I don't see it ending well with his brother being locked up and, of course, Cooper Saxe being Jenny Sullivan's CI. But what do y'all think? Do y'all really care about Theo Rollins anymore since it's not Redman? Y'all let me know down below. Now, Lorenzo pops up on your girl, Dirty Diana, and she in there kicking it with Salim, probably about to get her cheeks clapped. But once Lorenzo walks in, Salim had a shook look on his face, and he got the hell up out of there. Now, Lorenzo does tell Diana that Kane is in over his head. Noma got him feeling like he's Mecca, and he needs her help. Talking about how the campus was so hot because of Tariq. And I'm thinking, like, really? I think it's hot because of Kane as well. And, of course, your other kids, like Drew, popping up at the school all the time. But that's just my opinion. He tells Diana, like, look, maybe you can push this weight at the candy store. We talked about this in the last episode that eventually Diana will start moving product at that candy store. It was the perfect front. And the way that Salim was talking about it, I mean, it was tailor-made for her to move product there. And that's exactly what she's going to be doing. And she's going to have to be very careful on how she operates. Now, Detective Kevin Whitman, he ain't going to stop. This dude is on desk duty, but he still is popping up at Monet's spot. And she's telling Davis McLean, like, what is he doing? He tells her, just keep a record every time that you see him and leave it at that. He's going to take care of the rest. But y'all know Monet, she want to put this dude down. You know what I'm saying? She is tired of him. And she knows if he keeps snooping around, eventually he's going to find something. So we're going to see how this all goes. As I told you guys, usually characters like Detective Kevin Whitman that's moving so eagerly and, being so thirsty, they don't make it. And we're going to see if he's going to have that same fate. Now we get back to Braden, Tariq, and Effie. He has the whole app thing set up with the no cap, no frap coffee thing, and everything is going well. I mean, business is starting to boom and they're already getting sales. So we're going to see how long this whole thing is going to work out and if anybody slips up. Now, Effie does ask Braden, did he, go behind Tariq's back in order to get him to work for Westing Holdings? And he says, yes, is a little white lie, whatever he had to do, what he had to do to get him there. And y'all know he's going to be pissed off when he finds out about this, just like he's going to be pissed off when he finds out the truth about what Effie did to Lauren. Now, Kane meets up with Braden, and he's pissed off. He knows Braden did not take out the Russian Connect. He knows whoever did it was black. Braden won't tell him who it was. Of course, we know it's Tariq, but Braden is saying Tariq was not there. Now, Kane, he is second guessing himself. So he's like, man, so you hired a random person? Like, what's going on? I don't believe you. And he knows that maybe he's lying about the whole Lauren thing too. He's like, look, is she still breathing? So now Kane is all in his head and he tells Braden, like, look, you still owe me a body and I intend to collect, right? And we know he ends up calling Effie at the very end of the episode to meet up with her. Because y'all know he wants to have that conversation with her about Lauren and if Braden is a man of his words. Because the way it's looking, the man moving real shaky. And Kane, he understands that this dude is flat out lying to him. And he's right. I mean, the way that he's moving, you would think that he lied about Lauren and that she could be breathing based off what he's talking about. Even though they said Lauren was dead, Kane's not believing that. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely having thoughts about any type of outcomes. But what y'all think is going to happen when he has that conversation with Effie? You already know that's going to be something that we cannot miss. And we're going to see if Effie is going to decide to give him some intel. But we're going to find out hopefully in next week's episode. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support. And I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.